Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers.
Today is Sunday, January 26th, 2014. It is 6:15 a.m. Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers. Yeah. Just got to get through today to get to tomorrow.
If you need more space, you'll probably need more money. And if you don't mind a crowd, it's a wonderful idea. But we've got a better one. Introducing My Cloud. Finally, a cloud of your own. The game stands tall is one of the titans for a new generation.
It's been a long time since I've seen something as inspirational and great as this.
The time is right now.
Every parent should bring their kid. Every kid should see this movie.
Must be. The game stands tall. Rated PG. It is written that
Today is Thursday, August 21st, 2014. It is 6:20 p.m. right now.
552 episodes and not one moment of rest. Not bad for mere mortals. The Every Simpsons Ever Marathon starts August 21st on FXX.
To clear acne, they say you gotta follow the rules. Doctors, pills, routines, yeah, right. Break the rules and clear your skin.
Upper 60s and low 70s, that'll be the peak.
Small opportunity for showers and storms redeveloping right through Friday night, right through Saturday, and right into Sunday. Again, these are not all-day rains or washouts, so again, I would cancel any of your activities. Slight chance we'll see a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. Most of the state is dry, near 90 in Madison, 83 in Milwaukee as the wind shift back to the east in the afternoon. A chance of a thunderstorm, small, overnight tonight, unless that big line's of a hope southwest. I don't see it happening, though. 68 degrees, very humid. 83 tomorrow with 87 inland, partly cloudy skies, a slight chance of a few isolated thunderstorms. 67 tomorrow night with an isolated storm possible, and warm, humid again on Saturday, partly cloudy skies, and again, just a chance of an isolated thunderstorm. 81 in Milwaukee. More of the same on Sunday, 83 degrees with a chance of a stray or isolated thunderstorm. More of the same into the early part of next week. Monday's an interesting day. If the timing of the fronts are right, could be our first 90.
Oh boy.
On Monday. Could be. And then we're back in the 70s, middle to the end of next week.
So we can't get used to it.
No, but our first chance, our only chance so far coming up to officially at the airport get a 90-degree could happen on Monday, but again, timing and things like that.
A lot could happen
Yeah,
between now and then.
right,
Thanks,
exactly.
John.
Next in sports, the Packers defense making a strong impression this preseason.
Tonight's primetime lineup starts at 6:30 with Wisconsin tonight. Then it's Hollywood game night. Welcome to Sweden. America's Got Talent. And more local news on 9 to 10.
Tonight at 10. Whether you want breakfast on the grill or you're in the mood for a sweet treat, these two spots are doing it right. Courtney Garish hands out 2 Blue Ribbon Awards for clean dining.
Puppy love. I see dead people.
First of all, I think you need to let the investigation take its course. We as leaders need to extend our sympathies to the Brown family, to the community, and respect this investigation so that we can get to the facts and the truth so that justice can be served. I, as a political leader, do not want to give any impression that I'm trying to graft my policy preferences or political agenda onto this situation, because that would be disrespectful to do that. If you're asking me my opinions about poverty, I would tell you we have a long ways to go to cure and fight systemic poverty in America. And we as policymakers need to have a fresh
get
look
rid of this spot right
at
here.
Poverty, given that it's
I've got a new
50
camera,
years old,
probably.
and we have
That's
the
what it
highest
is.
poverty rates in a generation. This is why for the last
The
2
spots
years
are
I've
on
spent a
the
lot of
inside
time with
the
others
lens.
looking at the poverty situation, listening to people fighting poverty successfully in many cases in a lot of our poor communities, and trying to apply those lessons to good public policy so that we can focus the war on poverty on an outcome-based approach versus what I would call has been traditionally the input-based approach. How much money are we spending? How many programs are we creating? How many people do we have on these programs? Instead of how many people are we truly getting out of poverty? Are we attacking the root cause of poverty to break the cycle of poverty? Or are we simply treating symptoms? These are the kinds of questions I think we need to ask of ourselves, and as policymakers we can get better solutions after doing something like that. And that's why I put a plan out to get this debate going, to get some ideas on the table, to see if we can get some better thinking to really finally go at some of the fundamental causes of poverty in America.
So obviously we don't
Good
have time.
job.
I know you could talk for several days about budgets and specific social programs. Let's just talk about food stamps as one. Do you think that food stamps should be cut? Do you think that it should be monitored better? How would the Ryan proposal help people in poverty when it comes to applying that program?
The Ryan proposal, I call them opportunity grants, which consolidate up to 11 different federal welfare-based programs into flexible grants to the states so that you can customize aid per a family's need. Here's the problem, Jake. One woman fighting poverty may need food stamps or may need job training. One man in poverty may need, addiction counseling and jobs training. People have different problems. We shouldn't use this sort of Washington one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter solution. Let's customize aid to families in need, and let's also break up the welfare agency monopolies that are not performing like they need to, and give families in need more choices on where they can get their services from, and have an outcome-based approach, have a work-based approach, and then measure and test results. The point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of innovative ideas out there in our communities. We shouldn't stifle them or displace them. We should support them, and let's go with customized aid. I've seen lots of phenomenal stories. Lutheran Social Services, Catholic Charities, America Works, groups that when they've had the ability to customize aid to a particular person's need has actually helped treat that person eye to eye, soul to soul, fighting poverty far more effectively than having this one-size-fits-all situation. That's what I've been proposing with my opportunity grants.
You write in your book that you regret having used the phrase makers and takers to describe economic disparity. You say, quote, it sounds like we're saying people that are struggling are deadbeats. And you also had to clarify comments you made about the tailspin of, quote, inner city culture. Do you think that I don't doubt your sincerity in wanting people to be lifted out of poverty. Having stumbled a couple times, or at least apologized for things you've said a couple times when addressing this issue, why do you think it is that Republicans seem to have such a hard time convincing the people of Ferguson behind me that you care about them?
So let's take the makers or takers. That was convenient shorthand, which applied too broad of a brush to a problem that we're facing in America. And look, as a policymaker, I think if you think you've made a mistake, you should own up to that. More to the point, I was misdiagnosing the issue and the problem. The problem isn't people struggling to survive in America. That's part of the American idea, struggling to make a better life for yourself. I think the problem is policies that don't work to help people get to where they want to get in life. And so if we are not communicating that correctly. And if we are not presenting our ideas as effectively as we ought to present them, then let's
Out
learn
of
from
regular
those
Coke,
mistakes and try and do a better job of
forced to
doing
drink
so.
Diet Coke.
And you talk about folks who are battling, who are struggling. I think that there are policies that have been in place for a long time that haven't been working. And if they're not working, if we have persistent poverty, if we have chronic multi-generational poverty, let's try some new ideas. Let's see what has worked in some other areas and see if we can apply them to these areas. And so that's the kind of policy making I think we need to do. Let's stop talking to each other in poisonous, partisan, divisive ways. And the argument I make in my book, which is if we really want to renew the American idea, which is that the condition of your birth doesn't determine the outcome of your life, we've got a lot of work to do in this country. I put out a number of reforms and proposals and solutions based on solid first principles that made this country great in the first place on how to do that. That, to me, is what policymakers should do. I don't like the direction the country's headed right now, and therefore, as an elected official, I shouldn't just criticize, I should propose solutions and alternatives, and that's precisely why I wrote this book and why I'm doing that.
You write about a lot more than just poverty in your book, The Way Forward, Renewing the American Idea. Obviously, because I'm standing in Ferguson, I focused on that. I hope you come back. We can talk about more of the ideas in your book. Best of luck with it, Congressman Paul Ryan.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jake. Take care.
City police officer. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Police claim the suspect pulled a knife on an officer and refused orders to surrender. A crowd has since gathered at the scene.
As officers arrived, the suspect turned towards the officers and started to walk towards them, clutching his waistband. He then pulled out a knife in what we described as an overhand grip and told the officer, "Shoot me now, kill me now." As he walked towards the officers began giving him verbal commands: drop the knife, step back, drop the knife, at which time the suspect stopped as he was approaching the driver and then turned his attention to this officer that was in the passenger seat. Both officers are out of the car. When they initially got out of the car, they did not have their weapons drawn. When the suspect displayed his knife, they drew their weapons. The officers are giving the suspect verbal commands: stop, drop the knife, stop, drop the knife. The suspect moved towards the passenger, the police officer that was in the passenger seat of the vehicle, at which time he came within 3 to 4 feet of the officer, and the officer shot. Both officers fired their weapons, striking the suspect, and the suspect is deceased.
Joining me now is national correspondent for the Today Show MSNBC anchor Craig Melvin. Craig, can you describe the scene on the ground there? Are people reacting to the news out of North St. Louis in Ferguson?
Not yet, Alex. At this point along West Florissant, it's sort of business as usual, so to speak, as odd as that may sound. As you know, as you guys indicated at the top of the hour, Captain Johnson.
I am not a dad.
I
took some of his dad's drink. It's mine now.
Full of those protesters. We continue to hear the car honking as well. We did hear one gentleman drive by shortly after that shooting happened. That's about 3 miles up the road. We heard one gentleman drive by, window down. All he screamed was, "They shot another one, y'all. They shot another one." But at this point, that's all we've heard so far. The protests, again, they've been very small. They've been very peaceful. We have not seen a great deal of activity, but as you know, that's been the case by and large since these protests have started. No problems when the sun's out.
Off to the library I go.
Problems happen when the sun goes.
Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers. Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers.